He says to build a house on the rock. One man built his house on the rock. One built it on the sand. Now, if you didn't know either house and you drove by, you didn't know either one of them, they both look like two houses, well put together, well built, nothing wrong with them. They both look healthy. Neither one of them look like they're sick. Neither one of them are skinny as I am. But that's all right. I'm a peculiar person. So anyway, they both come to church. I see both of them. I've seen Rob lifting up his hands in worship. I've seen Elder Jonathan lift up his hands in worship. I've even seen Elder Jonathan dance in church. I've seen Rob serving. I've seen Rob standing up during praise and worship. I've seen Rob on the headset serving in a capacity. I've seen Rob come to the altar. I've seen Elder Jonathan come to the altar. I've seen Rob doing things right in his life. I've seen Rob trying to get married and do all the right things and do it God's way. I see Elder Jonathan, he's faithful with his wife. He's faithful in the tithe. He's like a father to many guys here in the church. They both look well put together. Here's the thing, the scripture says that the winds came, the storms came, the seas came. You won't really know somebody's foundation until calamity hits their life. Both of these look like well put together houses. Both of them look well put together. They're both muscular. But when life hits the fan, that's when you separate the real from the fake. Now, what we didn't know is, and this is just for an example, that even though Rob looks a little bit muscular, he's a little bit bigger. He's like Samson and his strength is in his hair. And we see all of that. And those are not extensions, by the way. That's his real hair. Styles by Naomi. All right? And so, it's a shameless plug for Naomi. Trying to get you some money, man. But what we don't know is, when Rob goes home, Rob never picks up his Bible. His Bible is just some kind of furniture or trinket that sits on his table. What else we don't know is, when Rob goes home, Rob goes straight to sleep. What else we don't know is, Rob never takes the time to pray with his daughter. What else we don't know is, Rob still is dealing with some certain stuff that he never really got rid of in the first place, but he was around us body of believers who knows how to mask it so well and become actors. He took on what we know how to do. And that's as a church, we've done that. As a church at large, we've done it. People in injustice are letting people pretend and they know how to do church. So you appear to have a form of godliness, but you actually have no internal power inside of you. So we got two well-built houses there, but when just like you pass by any house, both houses look good, and they can be in Windermere, and they could be mansions, but you don't know what goes on inside of either one of those houses. This house can have domestic abuse. This house can have drug usage. This house can have molestation in it. This house can have pornography in every room in the house. This house can have cursing in it. They could be doing all of those things. But we won't know the difference unless we go inside the house. Just like we saw in Japan with the tsunami. You really didn't know what had a strong foundation until the seas came and overtook it. So when calamity comes and strikes his house, or strikes this building, his reaction to it will let us know how much of a rock he built his foundation on. So now that calamity struck his life and he lost something that was near and dear to his heart, Rob stops coming to church. Rob starts back cursing. Rob is up there on the corner with his new billboard. He's standing under the billboard, talking about the Kingdom Church. But Rob is going back to hanging with the guys he used to hang out with. Rob starts cursing again. Rob is doing the same things that he did before he got saved and came into the house of the Lord, because Rob didn't build it on the rock. Whereas opposed to this guy, he could lose his house, he could lose his car, he could lose his job, he could lose his wife, he could lose his money. It won't matter to him because he built his life on the rock, so he had a foundation. So in spite of his circumstances and in spite of his situation, he's still worshiping God. He's still praising God. He's still got his hands lifted. He's still tithing. He's still being faithful. He's still pouring into the lives of other young men that are in the church, teaching them lessons about what he went through when he was their age, because his life was founded upon the rock. How many of our lives are really founded upon the rock? What happens to you when calamity strikes your life? Do you go back into the world? Do you start back sleeping around? What happens? Let's go back to the will of the Father. Here's why it's so important to obey everything that God is saying. Here's why it's important. Because when you obey His word, as Jesus being your Lord, He has your best interests at heart. Stuff that you're going through right now, you don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to you, but it's all part of God's sovereign plan to build your house, to make you more sturdy, to make you stronger, to make you withholding and withstanding of anything that comes your way, no matter what happens in your life. You can't do that if you don't obey.